Hey, Pepin.
Yo, yo.
I've been thinking a lot lately about stuff.
Stuff.
Yeah, you ever have just like a random thought and you're like, man, I wonder what Pepin would think about that.
Actually, I do sometimes, especially when I edit the podcast. I'm like, what Pepin think about this? And then I say it, and I'm like, oh, I guess that's what Pepin would think about that. So yeah.
Wait. You can't even predict what you're going to say in something that's already been recorded?
I'm kind of random, so not really. I mean, sometimes I can, but other times I'm like, wow, that's a good point I just came up with.
Nate, I want you to make a lot of really good points. I have some like just kind of one-off topics I want to talk about that I don't think we can fit into a whole episode. Are you down for that?
Yeah. So this is like a stuff hodgepodge episode extravaganza.
Meader's thoughts.
We did talk.
Welcome back. So glad you guys could join us. I am here once again with my best friend, Nathan Pepin. How's it going, Pepin?
Yo, I'm doing well. How about you, Steve?
I'm so great. Thank you so much. Every time I ask that question, you reciprocate and you ask me how I'm doing, and I appreciate that.
How art you doing?
How art thou doing? We do have with us special guest Anita Oswald, famous author from New Hampshire. How's it going, Anita?
I'm good, guys. How are you?
Not too bad, thanks. I'm so glad you came back on to talk about just some random stuff. So I have a couple of questions that kind of like, or just thoughts on the world in general that kind of just popped into my head that I want to get you guys' opinions on. And they may be, some of them are a little weird and some of them are a little risque, but I think that they'll be good to talk about. The first one I want to talk about is phones. So we all have a cell phone. Mm-hmm. Which company do you guys use for your cell phone itself and for your provider?
So I use LG V20, LG V20.
Oh yeah, you're the type of guy who had a Zune in high school instead of an iPod.
Yep. I mean, if I had the money, I'd go with Samsung most likely, but LG V20 is pretty good. And who's my provider? It's what are they called? US Cellular.
Yeah, I have US Cellular. I have an iPhone 6, so really old phone at this point. Now that we're on a 10.
Oh yeah, I have an iPhone 8 Plus.
Yep.
Ooh.
Pretty fancy. And Sprint. I use Sprint.
Outstanding. So we have US Cellular because mine's a work phone. I don't even pay for it. My company does. But do you guys ever get notifications from your company that says you're due for an upgrade?
Yes.
My company doesn't pay for my phone.
Not your company, I'm sorry, but your service provider, US Cellular.
Oh, no. So I do the prepaid thing. So I bought the phone outright, and I just have – it's not prepaid exactly, but they call it prepaid. It's just like a monthly thing instead of finance. So I didn't finance my phone. That's paid for it.
Interesting. Okay. The thing that I have an issue with is the phrasing there where they say you're due for an upgrade. And what that really means is – you've paid off your phone. Do you want to take out another loan with us?
Right.
Good point. I think it's awful that they phrase it as you need an upgrade because most people are going to be like, oh, it's time for an upgrade. Like I get a free upgrade. And really they're like, no, you can pay the same that you've been paying us. Okay, what's my other option? Not paying you. Like I think that's a really important distinction that most people don't make.
Yeah, save yourself $30 a month.
Exactly. At very least until it starts to fail. Like I'm still using the 6. And they're on 10 now, and it still works just fine. And I do IT for the business I work for. So when people come to me and they're like, "Oh, my phone's not working. I need a new phone," I'm like, every person in this company has a 7 or better, and I have a 6. When mine starts to fail, then you guys get an upgrade. But until then, like, why you don't need one just because the company's telling you you're due for one? All it means is you're not paying us money anymore.
Yep. Well, they're trying to get you to upgrade it, but. One thing with Apple, which is a little bit mischievous, is a little bit of a side tangent in a way, but kind of not, is it's been proven now that what they do is they will upgrade all of the device drivers and system information, or all the system UI. They'll upgrade all the system stuff on the iPhones for the new phone, and then they'll put the update on every phone that exists, essentially, and that update will slow down all the new phones. So right before launch, everyone's phone starts going slower, and people will be more likely to buy phones.
Yeah, and then you have the people like me who just want the latest up-to-date technology.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of the new features like face recognition to unlock your phone, like things like that, are so convenient and really are helpful. Like I feel like the phones should be able to sell themselves, not using manipulation and tactics like slowing down the other phones, which is, in my opinion, that's unethical in general.
See, I'm a little bit like conflicted because on the one hand, I think that it makes sense that they would put these updates out and it would just naturally slow down the old phones because you want to keep the old phones up to date. So it makes sense that if these new features or new functionalities are just happening to be more advanced and the new phones handle them better than the old phones, that makes sense. But at the same time, it is a little bit like fishy because I don't think they're being well optimized. I think it's just a side effect of it, and the side effect is that they profit.
For sure. I've seen it more from Apple than from anybody, but I know US Cellular is the one that always sends us emails. It's almost time to upgrade. You're due for an upgrade.
See, Sprint doesn't do that. If you log into your online account there, every screen you go to says upgrade, you're eligible. Mm-hmm. But they don't send you a lot of, junk mail or anything like that.
See, I'm not used to all this upgrading stuff because I've always bought my phones. I've never financed a phone, at least not yet. And I haven't had any of these upgrading things. And usually I think about upgrading my phone when I break my old phone or when the old phone isn't doing it for my use cases. So like I was sending a lot of text messages, watching YouTube videos and stuff like that. And it wasn't really working out with my old phone because like my hands are huge, but the phone I had is like this tiny little thing. And
whoa, I've never noticed how big your hands are.
Those are big hands.
Thank you. But I was trying to send text messages, and I had to send many text messages out to my bosses and stuff and emails, and using my tiny little phone.
Your tiny little phone with your big thumbs.
Do you have like a flip phone?
No, it was just a tiny track. It was a track phone technically, but it wasn't. It was touch.
So it's a flip phone that doesn't flip.
I guess.
Like one of those old Nokia boxes.
I have it in my closet. I'm just gonna take a side step here. You guys keep talking. I'm gonna go grab it.
Okay.
Oh my God! Watch it be one of those things where you just slide the keyboard up. Or like is it, the face, the screen, you slide it up.
Yeah,
and
you slide it open.
Like have the teeny tiny little buttons that are like smaller than my pinky nail.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had one of those. I remember back when I was in high school texting, you had a cell phone where you just had the keypad. Mm-hmm. And if you wanted to hit C, you had to hit 1 3 times. Oh, and to type that whole word.
That's the worst.
Predictive text came out, and that made it so much easier because it would guess the word when you got 2 or 3 letters in.
Except when they add auto spell correct, because sometimes you could be saying the peanuts are in the cabinet and the text says the penis is in the drawer. I mean, come on.
Well, you got to keep the penis somewhere, so.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know where else but the kitchen drawer.
But yeah, those ones I had one of those as well, that it slides open and then it reveals a full keyboard, and it does make texting way easier, but you need to learn. It's a long process to learn how to type on something that little tiny little numbers.
Yeah, because if you have huge thumbs, you're gonna have a problem.
If you got Nathan's gigantic King Kong thumbs, he can't find his phone, folks.
Nope.
He's looking.
He's a lot taller than I thought too. I thought he was a little
just
shorter.
A force to be reckoned with. My goodness. And toe to tip.
They do say something about guys with big hands, don't they?
Yeah, so gloves. I think it's glove related.
So here's my phone. It's invisible.
Oh wow! I had one just like that.
Ooh, it's so pretty.
I found the old phone, which stopped working. So I had a small phone, and then it didn't work out because of my giant thumbs. They're not that giant, but so I got the new phone. The new phone stopped working because it wasn't charging, and it's like an issue with like just those old chargers. So I had to get a new one because of that, and it's like I could have gotten it repaired, but at that point it costs like $200 to $300 to get it repaired because
just buy a new phone.
Yeah, it's like I cracked the screen on one of my phones, and that's what actually made me want to get the new one was not the tiny fingers, or tiny screen, but the broken screen. But it's like at that point, just get a new phone.
That reminds me, at work, we the printer that we had started failing, and it said replace drum. So I looked up the parts that I would need to replace it, and the parts to replace it cost more than buying a brand new that exact same printer. So we bought a brand new that exact same printer, and it came with ink. So it was
bonus.
We saved like hundreds of dollars by buying a new printer versus a replacement part, which doesn't make any sense.
Printers are a very terrible market. They used to be really good because they had like concrete, well manufactured parts. And since they've gone to plastic parts, they're very finicky, very easy to break, and you're better off just getting a new one half the time.
And that's what we did. And that one's going to fail soon, and we'll have a third printer. They both still work, but one of them, like when it spools, all of the paper comes out with like divots in it and stuff, which is fine for internal use, but external to customers and stuff, you want something nice. So that's why we use a second printer. Mm-hmm. But it's also nice because I can set them both to be able to scan into the computer. And I set one to be really low quality so they can scan a bunch of stuff fast, and one to really high quality when we need something that looks really, really good. So it actually worked out really well to have them both. Mm-hmm. But that's enough on that subject. I think we're all pretty tapped on phones and printers. I want to talk about fundraisers. So kids do fundraisers, right? Like in school, mm-hmm. you have to sell all that wrapping paper and all that crap, or Girl Scout cookies. Like that's a fundraiser. Realistic, that's what it is. So there's all these different types of fundraisers. I have a big problem with them. With one type of fundraiser. With one type of fundraiser, the car wash.
Ooh.
When you have high school girls doing a car wash, who's that for? That is like far and away the creepiest thing I can imagine is high school girl fundraisers. And they're like, oh, bring your car. I'm like, no, I'm good. Like, I'll go through the fucking digital one. I'll give you $10 to not wash my car.
All right. So what's your problem with the high school girls doing it? Is it the tiny little shorts that they're wearing?
Absolutely.
The wet tops that they're wearing and you feel like a creep? Is that what the problem
absolutely.
is?
No.
Okay.
Who is it for?
It's for the school. I have in 2 months, in just over 2 months, she'll be 18, and she has done soccer car wash fundraisers for several years. Mm-hmm. And it's great because the community comes out, they support the school, the mm-hmm. sport, the town, the kids, and not one person has been creepy mm-hmm. about it.
The concept mm-hmm. itself is creepy. The concept itself is, let's get underage girls scantily clad and wet all over cars and we'll give them money. Why does that sound like a good high school fundraiser?
Well, now that you say it like that, and yeah, that just sounds kind of pimpish on the parents' part, the school's part.
Like, oh, maybe they raised $10,000. Like, good for you, but still,
they say sex sells.
Yes, but it's literally CP. Like, this is there's no good aspect to this, in my opinion.
God, she graduates this year.
And now it'll be legal for do car washes.
Right.
I think that if the context is there, it's not creepy because, if they're wearing bathing suits, okay, that's a bit too far because mm-hmm. that's too. But then again, people go on beaches when they're below 18 wearing bathing suits, so it's kind of similar to that. But I think there's a.
That is a completely different thing.
Yeah,
that is not a service where you're raising money.
True. I think it's a different context too.
My question isn't who are they raising money for? My question is, who is the target audience for that specific fundraiser that wouldn't also benefit from a bake sale or something more traditional and less scandalous?
Would it be more okay if they were wearing say construction worker garb or like
prison suits,
like non-sexy garb, like things which aren't considered like scandalous?
I think the idea of it in general is just like washing the car and you pressing up against windows. It's like that's the whole concept, I believe, was derived as a sex appeal thing, and maybe didn't even start at let's have underage people doing this. But when it got to that point, someone needed to be like, why?
Well, some school
Why
districts
this
now
one?
do co-ed.
I
So it's
would
the
feel,
boys team plus the girls
I would
team.
feel a little better about that.
Just a little bit.
A little bit, but
Okay.
even still, it's still creepy.
Yeah.
What if it was all boys?
The age given what our society deems to be appropriate is my issue. It's not necessarily a gender issue at all. But I just seen it more often where it's scantily clad, very young girls doing this. And to me, that is absolutely creepy. And I would love to donate to them, but not under those pretenses.
So you don't have to go through the car wash. You could just give them cash.
But why as a society do we need that to be a fun, like an American staple of this is a fundraiser? There's the big three. There's bake sale, there's sell stuff door to door, and then there's getting wet on cars.
I have nothing to that. Nothing.
I do have an experience where I was at a car wash. So we were doing a fundraiser for like some sort of event to go to, and it was like actually a church event, and there was some people. So there was like two cute girls in the group. I was like 16, they were like 17 or something, and those two cute girls were the girls who were like on the side of the road, kind of getting people to come in. And they definitely flirted with the guys with nice cars, like hey, you with the nice car, hey, like come in, huh? And they were definitely using their sexual appeal. Now when they got there,
And it was Nate wearing a Speedo.
So when these poor suckers pulled into the
They doubled their tip.
into the lot.
That I'm okay
Wow.
with. Drawing all the creeps and then disappoint them. So that brings me. Are we good? Are we good on that one? Does anyone have anything really pivotal on that?
yeah, I don't know.
My official stance is it's creepy.
Okay.
I think it's a fair stance. Now, we're all familiar with the wolf man, with the concept of a werewolf. When Wolfman changes under the light of the full moon, does he have a dog dick?
This is a random thought for you.
This is a pretty standard thought. For
Okay,
me.
a pretty standard thought for you. I don't know.
Does it turn into a? Does he have a wolf penis?
I would say no. I mean, he's still part human. Like he's just part
Yeah.
wolf.
Yeah, but all of his whole body turns into a werewolf.
Well, no. Well,
Except he's got this big human dong.
Well, wait,
hanging
are we
down.
talking about like Twilight werewolves, or are we talking like
Great question.
Dracula underworld werewolves, where because that's two totally different werewolf looks. I mean, you got full on dog and you got full on hot guy all hairy. I don't know.
that's a good point. So maybe there's stages in between too. Maybe you're full on werewolf and then just go stock dick.
Maybe you just don't have one.
Like, are you one of those dog dick werewolves, or I gotta know? This is for research. I promise.
But it could be like I feel like some dogs like it kind of goes up in, actually this is all dogs, it kind of goes up into them, but there's like this little thing there, so maybe there's like no way of knowing unless you like investigate.
All right, Nate. That's a
So you're gonna have to go
bold
get underneath
stance.
some werewolves
Okay.
and be
All
like,
right.
all right, this
Where's
is
the
purely
nearest
for
werewolf farm?
research.
I forget. Where's the?
There's a wolf farm in New York. New
Okay.
York. Go see if there's
Nate,
some
we're going on
werewolves
a road
there.
trip. We need to investigate.
I think the correct answer though is, as Anita said, it depends on how wolf it is. So the more werewolf it is, the more likely it's just a dog thing. The less or more human it is, the more it's the human thing.
So you've got like centaurs, right? And that's obviously a horse dick.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But what about like what are they called? Minotaurs, like Pan, where they're almost all human except for the legs, and the legs are like hooved.
I'd say that's a man one.
Yeah,
Man, total. Yeah.
just a regular human being.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know on that one.
Nate's not sure. He's trying to imagine, but
I'm purely guessing here. I've never actually seen one face to face.
that's fair. I mean, this
or
is
face to dick, whatever.
this is of course all speculation. Okay, so I think the consensus is it depends on how wolf-fid they are.
Mm-hmm.
But it's definitely something you guys haven't thought about before.
No.
Does Wolfman have a dog dick? What about when he turns back? Does he turn back into a full human?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why wouldn't he?
Yeah, that's kind of how the thing goes, right? I mean, maybe there's exceptions to that rule, but in general, that's how the cliche is, or the general trope.
I don't know. Maybe he's always got a dog dick, and that's how you know what a werewolf is. Yeah. You're a human with a dog dick. You're a werewolf. I think that's how it works. Guys,
I'm not sure.
Guys and gals, if you meet a man or a
who
woman
has a dog dick,
who has a dog dick and or vagina, that's a werewolf. You heard it here first.
This will enter in some sort of movie plot now.
I know. There's going to be sole focus on
how has
dog dick.
How has no one looked into this yet?
They never show that part during the transition.
They don't. What about Michael J. Fox and Teen Wolf? I don't know. These are the hard questions someone's got to ask.
He's always got clothes on.
He does. Why? It's that Hollywood can hide the truth. So that's all the questions I had.
I have a question.
Yes.
Okay.
Why do you have hot sauce on your speaker?
This is where I tend to eat dinner, to be honest.
Okay.
And it's yesterday I was eating some food before my girlfriend came over, and it's okay, now I need to clean up out there. So I clean up out there, and it's okay, I think in here's clean enough. Okay, I guess so.
Oh, so you clean up for your girlfriend, but not your radio guests or your podcast guests?
I thought I cleaned up pretty well. I mean, for the most part.
He did. No, he reassembled.
Yeah.
He assembled all of this. All of this is usually out there.
I think it looks quite nice in here. Yes.
I mean,
so she tears you apart savagely.
It does.
There's random
wow,
junk
it
around.
looks filthy in here, but you did it good enough.
It's good enough, I suppose. But what is this? You guys have this We Need to Talk board up here, and there's a bunch of this stuff on there. But one question: should kids run lemonade stands?
Oh, that's a
Why
very good question.
is that even a question?
Well, should they?
Who the hell else is going to run a lemonade stand?
Professionals. Minute Maid, maybe?
Aren't kids professional lemonade stand
Have you
runners?
ever heard of Minute Maid?
Well, then what are the kids going to run? Are they going to run a
car washes?
A crack shack? I mean,
Should change it, Nate. Should kids run crack shacks?
Oh, wait a minute. You'll let the kids run a car wash, but not the scandalous teenage girls?
Exactly.
Isn't that worse?
Arguably. So I think the idea behind the lemonade stand is you know how sometimes people call the cops on kids with lemonade stands, and they make them shut it down because they don't have a permit.
That's ridiculous.
And that's what
those
the talk
people
is
are
about.
Stingy bastards.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Oh, it's definitely a thing. It's so there's a lot of stories about that. So people will call the cops on them, and they shut down the lemonade stand. So the question is that right?
No, it's not right. They're kids, for goodness sake.
They do not have a permit, and the FDA has not gone in there and actually taken a look around what's going on.
Kids have been running lemonade stands since the dawn of time. I mean, come on. If you can't drink lemonade from some random neighborhood kids stand, then what can you do?
I remember that story in the Bible where Jesus went to the lemonade stand
Right.
and shut that shit down.
What if someone gets sick off the lemonade? Who is culpable?
Yeah. Maybe yourself for being
dumb
ridiculous enough to actually drink the lemonade.
Well, the kid's sitting there looking at you with the doe eyes. You can't be I'm not drinking this.
Oh no. Come on. As a parent, guys, you know how to fake a sip.
No.
Seriously, you've never obviously had a tea party with a 4-year-old who wants to put a mixture of vinegar, water, salt, and God knows what else in your teacup. You just kind of, no mouth opening. That looks so good. It tastes delicious.
See, I wouldn't lie to him.
It's a white lie. It's not like a lie.
I would be like, I'm not drinking that. You put vinegar and
like
oil in this.
7 deadly sins lie. It's
I guess. I think that was up there for a while. Oh, there it is. 7 sins.
7.
We're just going to touch on all the topics.
So there is lust, wrath,
gluttony,
Drinking lemonade.
sloth,
Mhm.
sloth, envy. What's the other one? Pride.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's a good one.
And there's one last one, right?
I don't know.
Gluttony.
That's another one.
I don't know. Did you count them off?
I think it's lemonade.
Lemonade is definitely a sin. I mean, lemonade, no.
So there were kids right at, I live in a trailer park, and at the end of the park, like where everybody comes and goes, some kids set up a shop for like selling lemonade and stuff. And I gave them like $10 in change that I had laying around. And they're like, oh, what do you want to buy? I'm like, no, I'm good. I don't want to buy anything. I just want to support the idea of you going above and beyond to actually make money.
Right.
But I didn't actually buy anything, and I would not actually eat the stuff they had. It was disgusting.
Right. Yeah, the last lemonade stand I went to was my cousin's kids.
Yeah.
But she's an amazing baker, and she baked cookies, made lemonade, and it was delicious. But I would not drink it from a random lemonade stand.
From a rando lemonade stand?
No,
So
I
then
mean,
why
I'd
even
give them a
have 'em?
buck.
Yeah.
But
Well, then why don't they do a better fundraiser, like where they're selling like store-bought stuff? Like, here's a completely
they have to
sealed
have the money
hostess.
to go buy that.
Well, they have to have the
whose
money to buy the
parents-
lemons.
Well, who says it's not just powder out of a canister?
Well,
I mean,
okay.
that you probably
That's
have
true.
sitting in your cabinet for the last 5 years.
That's-
It's probably expired.
That's really true.
But I mean, the whole point of it is to, give them money, support their entrepreneurial, endeavors. I mean, who's going to, give money to a kid standing out there with a can that says, I would sell lemonade, but you wouldn't drink it. So just give your money to me anyways.
If they wrote all of that on a sign, I would definitely donate.
I would donate just because it was funny.
Not selling lemonade, it would be gross. Still could use money.
Hey, I mean, I applaud the effort and the, tenacity of that one, but I don't think too many people would,
I
be
mean,
throwing money in.
as a poll here, at least 2 or 3. Would you not give them money if they had a sign like that?
Wow. I mean,
Wow, now
yeah.
Anita's not even going to give money to kids. Begging on the side of the road.
I'm such a Scrooge. I mean, yeah, I would, give them a buck still. I mean, if it's, a kid in my neighborhood, but I'm not going to, go giving money to every kid
How
that
old's
I come
too old
across.
to be running a lemonade stand?
Oh, jeez.
7?
7?
7.
So you're too old at 7 years old?
I think
Where are you in
you're-
7? At 7, like first grade?
At 7, you're like in first, maybe
So a
second grade.
first, maybe second grader, should not be running a lemonade stand. They should be younger than that.
After 7, you should be like mowing lawns.
What if they were a baby? Just a little,
At that point, it's
just a
exploitation.
literal 10-month-old sitting on a table, sitting in a high chair.
I
No
would
parents.
wonder where those parents were, and somebody called Department of Health and Human
They're
Services.
buying more lemonade. I would pay a baby for some lemonade. I would drink that lemonade.
Aw,
If it was
I
a
would
little-
pay to cuddle a little baby.
Just a little 10-month-old baby selling lemonade.
Oh my goodness.
Imagine if they were like a really good salesman.
At that
too.
point, I'd put a jar out there that says future college education right here.
Get me off the streets.
Help participate. Because college will cost $1 million by the time I get there.
So, were there any more up there? Any good ones? Meaning of life? Yeah, we got 5 minutes. We can do meaning of life.
Meaning of life.
It's a joke. Unless you know the meaning of life, and then we could really shorten our list.
The meaning of life.
Mm.
Yeah, I have these really profound thoughts on the meaning of life, and that you should live, love, laugh.
Oh, nice. Do you happen to have that
Yeah.
over like a hearth or?
I do. How did you
Nailed
know?
it. I just guessed.
It's all carved out in white wooden letters too, with little pretty flowers around it for everybody to see. It's on display. It's beautiful.
It sounds it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Live, laugh, love, Nate.
Okay.
I think we do a lot of that here on the show.
Well,
I'm alive.
Yeah, we live. I don't think we love, though. Not very much.
Nate,
I mean,
we love.
No, not you.
You two clearly love each other.
Nate, we love each other.
I mean, we used to do the podcast in my bed, so I guess there was an aspect of that.
That's true. We didn't release those, though.
Probably for the best.
Those are for our Patreon members. It's called the Bedcast.
Now, we do laugh sometimes, but what else do we do? I think we plug.
We do. We plug stuff in. Like my phone is charging right now.
And what else do we plug?
We plug different books that people who are on our show have written. Like Anita wrote Letters to My Ex and Falling from Grace.
I did, yeah.
Absolutely. And of course we'll have links in the description. You guys can check those out. Definitely amazing reads. Anything else you're working on that people should know about, or where they can find you?
Currently, I am working on a psychological thriller, murder mystery. Ooh. Yeah, it's a little different than the other two, but you can find me on social media just under my name, Anita Oswald. I'm on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Minds, all the social medias.
Absolutely, and highly suggested. Check out her work. It's absolutely phenomenal.
Yep, it's for sale on Amazon and Kindle.
And Nathan, tell me, where other than your bed can they find us?
Well, they can find us on twitter.com/WNTT1, facebook.com/We Need to Talk Show. Also, we have Patreon where you can donate to us money. And there's one big place you can find us too, and find other things too, like Shit Happens When You Party Naked, or the Behavioral Observation Podcast, and that is Podcast NH. Steve, what's Podcast NH?
PodcastNH.com is, of course, a network of podcasts all working together. They're all based in New Hampshire, and it's just a cool place for people to hang out. And anybody in New Hampshire who wants to, or even outside of it, who wants to check out some shows from within New Hampshire, pretty much anything you can imagine is on there. From Shit Happens When You Party Naked, where they talk about his semen analysis. Can he have kids? Who knows? It's still up in the air. Someday we'll find out. Sure not. I'm not sure yet, but I'm excited to find out. There's a hunting podcast, a fishing podcast. There's one about being a good father, and video games, and of course whatever our show's about.
The video games. Is that the Blaze Experience?
It is indeed.
He's actually on our show a while back, right?
He was. Check out that episode if you haven't done so yet. I think we've talked about ourselves enough.
Have we?
No, we need to talk.
Hey, Pepin.
Yo.
Do you usually subscribe to entire podcasts, or do you look for specific topics?
Well, I try using the search function on my podcast player on my phone. It doesn't work too well. Try using Google. It's not really set up for it, so I honestly have trouble.
Why don't you just use Listen Notes?
Listen Notes? What's that?
It's a search engine for podcasts that doesn't just search for the terms you're looking for in the title of the episode or the title of the podcast, but from inside the episode itself. Meaning if you're looking for a specific topic, you can find specific podcast episodes that are about that topic.
You know, that sounds a lot easier than spending the hours and hours I have just trying to find exact right keywords to actually get it to bring up the episode. I mean, usually I just get like a million how to start your own podcast articles. It's really annoying. So that sounds a lot better.
Exactly. When you're looking for something to listen to, just go to listennotes.com, type in a topic you're interested in, and you'll get instant gratification, useful results. That's listennotes.com. Check it out now.